All right, so this is going to be our Intro to Inventor tutorial video. You will want your engineering notebooks out to take some notes on the Inventor environment and some of the tools that we will be using, along with our file types. So feel free to work at your own pace and play and pause the video as you need. All right, so when you open up Inventor through the app stream that we went over on Monday for homework, this is the environment screen when Inventor opens. All right, we have 4 different file types that we're going to talk about and use over the course of the semester. Today I'm just going to focus on what we call a part file, but I do want you to get into your notes the 4 different types of files: a part file, an assembly file, a drawing, and a presentation. All right. These are buttons. You can press them and it will open up those specific types of files, but I would like you to get in the habit of selecting new in the top left-hand corner. And when you select new, it'll bring you to the Create New File window. And this is where I want you to get in the habit of opening up new files from. Specifically because we have a couple different types of files for your part file, your assemblies, your drawings. And I want to make sure that you open up the right type of file that we're going to need for class. Second is it also tells you what each of these part files are used for, what an assembly file is, a drawing file, and a presentation file. So here's where I need you to start taking some notes in your notebook on different file types. A part file is when you create a 2D and a 3D object. So we're going to start by sketching a 2D face of an object, and then we're going to do something to it to make it 3D. And there's a couple different ways to go ahead and do that. All right, so a singular file is going to be called a part file. An assembly file is a 2 or 3D assembly of different components. All right, so when you start building things together, like putting Legos together or a car together, all right, they all have individual pieces or parts that fit together in a specific way to create a system. And that is what we are referring to when we talk about an assembly. We also have a drawing, and this is where we're going to go ahead and create our annotated multi-view drawings. And the last file type is going to be a presentation. You're going to create an exploded view or an animated file of your presentation or assembly. Okay, so those are the definitions of what they are. What I do want you to focus on are the file extensions. So as long as you've already written down your definitions for your part, your assembly, your drawing, and your presentation, I also want you to write down in your notebooks what the file extension is. So a part file is a .ipt, and I is for inventor, PT stands for part. Your assembly file is .iam for inventor assembly. Your drawing file is going to be a .idw for inventor drawing. And your presentation file is .ipn for inventor presentation. Sometimes I'll give you drawings in English. All right, measurements in English measurements are always going to be in inches, all right, which is why you see the IN now. Sometimes you'll get drawings with metric dimensions, and those are always going to be in millimeters. So if something's in millimeter, then you know you need to change your units to metric. If something is in inches, then you know you need to be in the English units. And so that's one way to go ahead and differentiate those. All right, I'm just going to say templates. I'm not really worried about units right now. But you are always, always, always going to open up a standard .ipt for inventor part while you're creating any type of drawing for a part file in IED. So I'm going to go ahead and start by selecting that and select Create. And what it's going to do is take a minute, maybe 2 or a few, and it's going to load the screen. Be patient with it. It is an extremely powerful software. And so it does take maybe a minute or two to kind of process and load. So don't start getting frustrated and clicking randomly. It will catch up to itself. And the first couple times we use it, there will probably be a little bit of lag, so that your computer gets used to it, but it will get better, I promise. All right, so this is the IPT environment. Up at the top, we have a bunch of different tabs. Primarily, we're going to be spending most of our time in 3D model and sketch. And below all the tabs, we have a bunch of different buttons or icons or functions, as we call them in Inventor. And if you hover over any of these buttons or icons, it'll tell you what that function or feature is. And in parentheses, like next to extrude, there's uppercase E. If you press the uppercase E on the keyboard, that would be your shortcut. And then it also gives you a nice definition along with a visual of what that actually does and how it works. And if you want more information, down in the bottom left-hand corner, it says you can press F1 and it'll bring you to Inventor's help menu, which is super helpful. But anyways, all of these icons, where they're stored, is called the ribbon. And then over on the left-hand side, we have what we call our browser bar. All right, and it's labeled as model, which is kind of confusing, but it's our browser bar. And our browser bar stores and keeps track of all of the changes that we've made to create a part. Okay, and I'll be able to show you that a little bit more once we start making a part. A lot of you are probably going to lose the browser bar. So how you go ahead and find it, and I would write this down, it's going to happen a lot, is you're going to go to View, your View tab, to User Interface. And when you select User Interface, you want to check Model. Mine's already checked because my browser bar is already on the left-hand side. But if you lose that, you'll just select Model, and then your browser bar will go ahead and pop up for you. All right, so the next thing that we need to go ahead and go over is our view cube. Our view cube is in the top right-hand corner of your environment, and your view cube is essentially the cube of the different faces that we can have for a 3D part. So like we were talking about in reviewing for your multi-view drawings, we're going to have a front view, and we're going to have a left side view, and we're going to have a back view or a rear view. We'll have the right view, we're going to come right back to the front, and then we'll have a top, and we will have a bottom. All right, so I can click on any of the faces, or I can click on the corners, and it'll bring me to my isometric view of my view cube. So lo and behold, I wasn't lying when I said that the orthographic and isometric are not going away. This is why we needed to practice them so much to make sure that we've mastered that knowledge and skill, because now we're going to carry it over into our software.